Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another episode of Battle Bites here in World of Tanks. This is a standard battle on Widepark, and it is my last battle in the Borsig. And you veterans of World of Tanks are going to be very familiar with the Borsig. It is, of course, the Tier VIII turreted German tank destroyer that leads to the Waffentrager Auf E100. For those of you newer to the game, unfamiliar with this tank, it's very slow. It has an exceptional camo rating, and it has a devastating choice of two guns, either a 128mm or a 152mm. The choice between the guns, you can either go for the really high alpha damage, averaging 750 per shot with the 152mm, or averaging 390 a shot with the 128mm. And the 128 has just about twice the rate of fire as the 152. So that's my gun of choice. I've played a lot of games with both of the guns. I started with the 128, unlocked the 152, used that for a bunch, and came back to the 128. For me, the 152 was just too unreliable. You don't get many shots, and if you have one that doesn't go where you want it to, I seem to have an inordinate amount of shots go into the tracks of the tanks that I was shooting. It has such an effect on your outcome in the game that I chose to go with the 128. It was more reliable. So there's my first shot of this game at the AMX there. And I feel like, man, I should have gone in. He either stopped on a dime or I just missed him. That shot sailed over his tank. So I feel like RNGesus owes me one in the bank. And then my second shot should have gone into that Pershing, but I think it just hit the railway car in front of him. So RNGesus owes me two. And then finally, I do get my first hit of the game into that Jagdtiger 88. His frontal plate is sloped down towards me, which is actually decreasing the angle of the armor, which is making it weaker. And the penetration on this gun is really good, and with that help in his poor angling is enough to get through his frontal plate. So the Borsig for me is a tank that I struggle with. It's got a lot of good reviews from a lot of people because of the sneaky nature of the camo and the powerful gun. People really sing the praises of this tank, but for me it didn't really click. Part of that is because I think I have learned that I am a medium tank player. I like to be mobile. I like to respond to situations that arise, either going offense, switching to defense, switching flanks, supporting, flanking, and you can't really do that in the Borsig. This is a specialized machine. And we'll pause for a moment here as I have a beautiful chance to remove that German artillery piece from the game. Thankfully, I held my shot on that heavy for an extra second, spotted the artillery, and changed targets to remove that German artillery piece from the game in one single hit for my first kill. And then we're going to advance here to the crossover. There's a T-29 on very low health, and we're going to try and help out our teammates here and remove him, and we're able to do so for our second kill. So for me, the 128mm was the way to go, but I still struggle with the tank. I never had an ace tanker or a first class mastery badge because this tank is a sniper, and if I was on an open map and I played it as a sniper, one of two things happened. Either our team did really well and I got left behind because the tank was too slow, or our team did really poorly and we got overrun. And now we're going to pause, and RNGesus owes me two, so yeah, why not? We're recording this. We'll take the shot. And it flies true through those two posts and secures the kill on the Russian medium there. Alright, RNGesus, we're good. So I'm going to advance here towards the cap. The score's pretty good here. We're looking like we have this wrapped up. We'll just see how many extra kills we can secure at the end of this game. And as I was saying, if I'm playing an open map, I struggle because I'm either going to get left behind in a good game because the Borsig's top speed is so slow, or I'm going to get overrun and not be able to dig out of a bad situation because this tank has no armor, and if it gets surrounded, it's going to die, and it's going to die quickly. And then in a city map, which is half of the maps that you end up in this tank as well, what are you supposed to do? You can't really play front line. You can't snipe because there's no way to do it. So I try to do a little peek-a-boom where I'll come around a corner, put in a shot, maybe two if I have the reload speed for it. But again, it's a lot of average games in this tank for me. So if you are a master of this tank, if you've aced it, if you just get it, tell me in the description, send me a comment, send me a link to a video, because I'd be really interested to see how you guys are playing this tank and being successful, to see if there's anything that I'm just not realizing that I could be doing that I wasn't. So I was in a really tricky situation here at the end of the game. I had a Borsig, an ISU-152, and a T-28 prototype, three tanks with extremely large caliber, very dangerous guns that could remove my health very quickly. And I did take a hit from the Borsig on the enemy team, and I was able to kill him in return, but he was using the 152mm, so he shaved off a big chunk of my hit points. And then I traded a second hit with the T-28 prototype So now I am down to about 140 hit points here, and I'm a one-shot for either of these two tanks that are left. So we've got 4 kills. We're having a good game, but I know this is my last game in this tank before I unlock the Tier IX, so I really want to try and push and make this as good a game as I can possibly be. But at the same time, I need to be a little cautious here, because a single hit from either of these two tanks, a single mistake, and I'm going to be done. So the T-28 takes a hit, so I'm betting he's going to be looking at somebody else. He is. And then adjust my aim, go for the side of the T-28. The side armor on that tank is really, really weak. The frontal armor is very strong. So I'm able to secure that kill for 5. And you know what? I'm recording this game. Let's go for it. I want that Top Gun. Either I'm going to get him or he's going to get me. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to try and take this kill. We pop through, take a shot through the archway, and we secure the kill on the Russian ISU-152 there. Remove him from the game and grab ourselves a Top Gun, which is my first Top Gun in the Borsig, and is ironically in my last game in the Borsig. So a quick look at the post-game stats. You can see for my Top Gun, I did have 6 kills on 8 penetrating shots. So most of those shots that hit were kills. 2,300 damage, which isn't a great result in terms of the amount of damage. I've had games where I had 4,500 damage, but those games were second-class mastery badges, just like this one was, which is kind of crazy to me that you can get a Top Gun, you can do 4,500 damage, and the second class is all that I'm going to get out of this. So even in my last game, I still was not able to broach that first class ace tanker threshold. So this was it. I did end up selling the tank after I unlocked the Aufpanzerfeuer, and for me, it's a playstyle type thing. I didn't really gel with the tank. I'm not a patient sniper. I really like to mix it up and move and adjust. So I did get rid of the tank. I know that's probably uncommon for a lot of people to do. But right now I'm working my way through the Waffentrager Aufpanzerfeuer, and it's kind of more of the same. It's okay. It's got a bit better gun. The gun depression is something I'm struggling with, but we'll get to that in a future video when I cover that tank. For now, that's it, guys. Thank you for joining me for this video, and I will catch you next time.